and welcome to the Salem content update video that I'm finally getting around to doing. It took me a little while because the skills that I'm going to be talking about in this video, well, skill I should say, were quite expensive to get. So this update was actually from December 2nd, so it was quite a while ago, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen it or done something with it or looked at it by now, but I'm going to do this for anybody who hasn't and for maybe help you guys explain how a little bit of this update works. So first thing they added tree planting, and they added claim upkeep. So this means that your claim actually costs money now to run, and it's not really that much, so it's not too big of a deal. But so basically, to start this off, the tree planting works pretty simply. It doesn't really take, you know, a whole lot of math or anything like that to figure out. You just have to kind of know what skills it bases itself off of. So first of all, forestry is a really expensive skill. It requires 3,500 arts and crafts, 3,500 frontier and wilderness, 3,500 stocks and cultivars, and 3,500 natural philosophy. So the first two things that you need to even unlock this skill are botany, which is somewhere up here in my huge list of skills that I have, and botany already requires 3,000 natural philosophy to get anyway, so you're going to already be pretty close there. And it also requires gardening, which you should definitely have if you're a farmer or anything else. It's pretty cheap, and it will help you reproduce your plants and peppers and stuff like that. So you need those two skills to even unlock forestry. And forestry is pretty simple how it works. They actually give you like a little tutorial kind of explanation right down here. And it says, acquire a cutting from a tree and plant it in a gardening pot. If a tree sprouts in the pot, carry the pot and right-click it on the ground to plant the tree. So pretty simple, pretty straightforward. And the other two things down there is basically explaining that the skill actually requires you to have a decent amount of frontier and wilderness, a decent amount of stocks and cultivars, and a decent amount of natural philosophy for this tree to even succeed. Which is kind of the crappy part, because in the beginning, when you first get it, you only have about a 17 to 19% success rate. So if you plant, 10 trees, you're going to be extremely lucky if you get, 3 or 4 out of those 7 to 10 trees or whatever. So it's definitely something you need to look at. Make sure that you have enough frontier and wilderness, you have enough natural philosophy and stocks and cultivars if you're planning on making a forest of your own, because, well, cuttings are limited. So you can only strike 2 cuttings from a tree. So it is, you got to think about it. You can't just plant a bunch of them because you're going to waste cuttings. So once you do this, you just right click a tree, you click strike cutting. Now what this does is when you strike this cutting from a tree, like I just did there, I got an oak cutting. So basically my frontier and wilderness and my natural philosophy skills depend on partly depend on the chance of this cutting succeeding growing in a pot. Now the other two things that happen is stocks and cultivars and natural philosophy are the other two skills that have an invisible, I guess you could say, dice roll on the to make sure it succeeds in a gardening pot of growing. So basically how it works is you have a invisible dice roll of frontier and wilderness and natural philosophy and stocks and cultivars and natural philosophy, and then it averages the two out, which basically depends on if you're going to succeed or not. So to start off, we're going to get 3 humus out of my compost here. I'm going to go over to my gardening pots, which are a little messed up because I've been actually planting a couple of trees and did it for the purpose of showing you guys. So we're going to just put 3 humus in this pot. We're going to fill it up with water, and like that. So now that this pot is ready to go, we are going to plant this cutting in it. So we're going to right click and there it is. So now this cutting, which it looks like this little baby tree, when I planted that, it took a second for it to actually appear in the pot. And what happens is it rolls again on your stocks and cultivars and natural philosophy. And if I got 2 decent invisible rolls on both of these things, the tree will succeed. If you don't have high enough skills and mine are still rather quite low, you will probably have a low succession rate and they will just turn into sticks. Now after a set amount of time, you'll either see them turn into this bushy, almost miniature tree looking thing, or it'll just be like a plain stick looking, and just kind of looks like a dead plant. And then if you right click it, you'll be able to pick and you'll just get a branch, and cutting has been wasted. So once you know that you can plant the tree, we're just going to go ahead and right click it, pick it up. I'm going to carry it to the front here, where I've been planting most of my trees, just because, well, they look cool, I think. And you can plant them in whatever way you want. So that's a definite bonus. And yeah, I mean, the tree planting really, if you're just kind of a casual player and you don't want to make a whole bunch of trees, I wouldn't even really worry about, getting your skills ridiculously high just to succeed. So, one of the other things that you cannot have is you cannot have any sort of pave or anything where you want to plant this tree. So, I don't like it there. Maybe go over here. Yeah, that'll look a little bit better. And now we are going to pick up this pot again, and we're going to right click on the ground. Well, in my case, I'm super paranoid about how my trees look, so in my case you will shift right click on the ground, click plant, and there we go. Planted the tree, pot's empty, and it's right in the middle of the tile, and we are all set to go. That's it. That's exactly how tree planting works. Now in one week, in real time, this tree will fully grow. I'll be able to pick branches off of it, or eventually I'll be able to pick leaves off of it. I can't pick leaves off of these yet. I think this is actually still a medium tree. It's not actually fully grown yet. So these still have some time left to grow. So that's more or less how you do forestry. I mean, forestry really isn't that difficult. So now that we've covered forestry and basically how forestry works, I'm going to talk about the claim upkeep, what this means for you, and what you guys kind of have to work for and what you have to do. So basically, the claim upkeep means that you have to actually put silver in your claim for it to stay alive, more or less, and to keep your claim going. And what this does is this means that if you quit playing the game, your claim will drop. Somebody can destroy your base. Let's say you live in a decent area somebody wants, and, well, I mean, you can't just stay there. If you're not playing the game, that's kind of unfair. So they implemented this so that, if somebody has an abandoned claim that nobody's got on in, 3-4 months, you can destroy this place and build there for yourself and claim it for yourself. So this means that if you do not want to lose your place to stay, you need to log on every now and again to put silver in your claim so that nobody can mess with it. Or, well, I mean, you can get raided at any rate, but, just in case, for your average person can't just come by and steal stuff. So to figure this out and to figure out how much silver and explain how this works and, so on and so forth, what you do is you just walk up to your claim stone and you right click it. Now, my claim stone is just a basic 5x5 claim right here, and just to kind of show you, this little bar right here is your silver amount that you have put in it. The first number is 76, so the amount of silver I have in this is 76, and then 240 is the maximum amount of silver you can put in it. So to figure out how much how much silver your claim takes per day, if you actually go to the thread in the announcements in the forum, it gives you the equation. But for, let's say, the sake of you not having to take the time to do that, I'll just show you right here. Basically the equation is your claimed area. So mine in this case is 25 square meters. So it'd be 25 times 25. And if I break out my trusty calculator here, 25 times 25 is 625. So I take 625, and then what you do with that number is you divide it by 300. So if I divide it by 300, I get 2.08, and then plus 4 is 6.08. So you just round it down to 6. So this claim takes roughly 6 silver per day to run. So 240 will get me 2 months worth of claim, or so it's said on the the announcement thread. And what happens then is if you fill it all the way up, you get 2 months of claim. However, if you let it drain all the way to 0, the claim actually drops. It doesn't disappear, but it will drop. And when it does drop, everything decays. Everything is free game, basically, for everyone to walk on your claim, steal stuff, destroy stuff, and just break their way through everything. So you definitely want to pay attention. You want to make sure your claim does not drop, and that's very important. So if you just want to be, if you just want to not have to worry about it, just fill it up with, the amount of silver every couple of months, and, you won't even have to worry about it. So that's basically how claiming works, and I think they implemented this in the game mainly to basically make it so that your claims won't, I guess, drop. And if you live in an area where somebody has, you have real estate that somebody wants, what actually can end up happening is they're just going to break your stuff down, leave scents and everything like that. However, that isn't really necessarily fair if you quit the game. So if you quit playing, you're not playing anymore, your area will eventually be free game for somebody to destroy, and that just, you know, they can take over. And so, I mean, I guess it's kind of cool, because I've come across a few places on myself that nobody had logged on, nobody was playing for months, and I was like, well, this is kind of crappy. Why can't I take this place? If they're not going to play the game, they're not going to be here. So I think it's kind of cool. So they did that. They've also added a couple of other random little things and new graphics, and they've made it so that animals can no longer attack in Boston. So the almighty Jorb can't summon a bunch of bears and snakes in Boston and, you know, start killing everybody. Or maybe he can. He does have god powers. So that's kind of cool. They just added a few little random tidbits of things. I'll put the link for the page that this is in. I'll put it right down in the description box down below, so that if you guys want to check it out, you can take a peek at that. I do have one more update video to do. They did do an artifice video, so once I figure out how that system works, which is going to take me quite a little while to figure out, I will let you guys know, and we will cover that as well. So thanks a lot for watching, you guys. I appreciate it. And if you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I will put the links in the description down below. And you can shoot me a message on YouTube if you have any questions. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.